There is no prescribed size for a user story. Let's take a look at 3 examples. As an eBay seller, I want to be able to list my items for sale so that I can make money. As a Spotify free subscriber, I want to be able to create a playlist so that I can create my own lists of music. As a Gmail user, I want to be able to mark an email as important so that I can identify emails that I need to do something about. Each one of these user stories is perfectly valid in their own way, but they are of very different sizes. The first is a high-level story that literally covers half of the entire eBay website. The second is smaller and describes a specific part of the Spotify application, but one that will still have multiple bits of functionality within it, for example, adding and deleting a playlist. The final story is a simple bit of self-contained functionality. It's perfectly acceptable to have large user stories at some stages of a project. Large stories are very useful for outlining the shape of a system, but it is not appropriate to attempt to build software from stories this size. As work progresses, large user stories will need to be broken down into smaller user stories that can be delivered. We'll get into how user stories of different sizes are used in the section on epics, features and stories later on. For now, just understand that there is no set size or scope for a user story. Let's try an exercise in writing different sized user stories. Have a go at writing 3 user stories for Google. Make one of them huge, covering the search engine's main activity. Write another that covers a subset of the site's functionality, the ability to serve targeted adverts based on what the user has searched for. Finally, write a small user story that describes what should happen when a user clicks on a search result. Don't spend more than a couple of minutes on this exercise. It's just designed to get you thinking about how user stories can be of different sizes. Now pause the video and have a go. Okay, let's see how you did. You should have ended up with something like this. As a search user, I want to be able to enter some search keywords and see a collection of search results that match my search terms so that I can find information on the internet. That's a pretty big story. As an advertiser, I want to be able to serve adverts as part of Google search results so that I can target my products or services at people who are searching for things that I sell. As a search user, I want to click on a search result and see the relevant website open in my browser so that I can look at the website and find the content I was looking for. How did you do? Don't worry if your user stories aren't identical. There's no right or wrong answer, and I'm sure mine aren't perfect either. If your user stories have managed to communicate enough information about what you're trying to describe, then you've done okay. The first user story felt pretty straightforward when I wrote it, but I found the second a little trickier. Initially, I wrote the second story from the perspective of a Google search end user, but then decided that it was debatable that they were the true end user and rewrote it from the advertiser's perspective. Once I'd done this, I felt a bit happier. The third story was pretty straightforward, but I changed the "so that" section a couple of times as I realised that users aren't always searching for information. Sometimes it's just cat videos. One thing that you'll find as you write user stories is that you will often write several drafts before you're happy with the end result. Even then, it may change as you begin to communicate with the development team about how to deliver the requirement.